Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today with my video for May for my Quilting Life Planner and Workbook. It's actually a great section of pages that we're going to talk about and that you can work on this month. As you'll find out in a few minutes, it's super timely for me. This is kind of right where I'm at in my organizing, and it just kind of fell into place that way. At the end of talking about those sections, though, I have some great viewer questions that I'm going to address, and just really was happy to get those questions because there are things that I have to deal with, and I feel like many of you will also appreciate just kind of a little discussion on that topic. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are. It is May. I cannot believe it. I'm excited about today's video because the sections that we're going to talk about for May they were actually so timely for me. I've been doing all of this organization in my sewing room, and exactly where I'm at is where May is. So for me, it just kind of worked out, luck of the draw, perfect for what I am actually working on this month. And then also have a great viewer question, actually a couple of questions that I'm going to share at the end of today's video. So let's go ahead and get started. May, I've got Memorial Day weekend here in the United States already marked off, Monday the 30th. And this section is all about, it's the 5th section in the planner. And again, you can start anywhere. And if you're just now hearing about the planner, you can start with May and use it into 2023. That's the great thing about an undated planner like this. May is all about fabric and scrap management, and there's a great little section that you'll want to read here on page 33. But then moving in right to page 44, it's kind of like just a little place to kind of ponder and think about how you want to manage your stash from this point going forward. And you can just make some notes, some more information here. This on page 35 I absolutely love. It's large cuts fabric inventory. And this, as I mentioned earlier, is exactly where I'm at in doing my organizing right now. I have a lot of large cuts of fabric that maybe I purchased when they were 30, 40, 50% off at quilt shops. And I've had some of these for years just in a plastic bin, and this is going to be great. I'm going to go through, pull a couple of those bins that I have out of the closet, and I'm going to measure the yardage, and I can write the location. I only have 2 bins, so I might just put a sticker on each bin, bin 1, bin 2, and then I can say, that's where this fabric is. Yardage, right here, fabric 4. I'm sure I probably had an idea for it when I initially purchased it, but it's probably long gone. So I'll probably just put the maker here. But if you do purchase something now and you buy the backing for a specific quilt, you could go ahead and write that in here. So write what it's for or what it is, the yardage, and where it's at. And I'm super excited to fill this in this month. And if you turn the page, pre-cut inventory. I am very excited about this as well. Let me suggest before you start filling this in, if you haven't already, if you have any of these pre-cuts that you want to donate, go ahead and donate them first so that you don't take up storage space in your planner listing them if you're just going to donate them anyway. But you can include mini charms, charm packs, honey buns, jelly rolls, layer cakes, fat 1/8 bundles, fat quarter bundles, jolly bars. Fat Quarter Shop makes jolly bars. And you can just use this as you want. You can do mini charms, and if you have more than one, use another section for mini charms. Jelly rolls, use another. It's really personalizable. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's easy to customize is probably what I should say, because some people don't buy certain pre-cuts. Maybe they don't like jelly rolls. And so that's why I didn't label these either. So you can personalize it for yourself. Maybe you only have fat quarter bundles, or you love layer cakes and charm packs. So just list what you have, and then on each of these lines you can write the designer or the name of the collection. And get this on paper, and then I feel like this can be really inspiring when you're kind of at a blah spot in your quilting life and you don't know what to work on. You can come look and you can say, oh, I have this fat eighth bundle. What could I make with that? Or I have this backing or this fabric for a border. What could I put with it here? Oh, you know, how can I put these two together and use them to make a quilt from my stash? So I'm, you know, and that's why I wanted these pages right next to each other. Okay, and then we're going to go on to the next page. And this is even more about your system for your scraps. And I've got kind of the definitions of the ways I cut my scraps, you know, fat quarters, fat eighths, strips that are 5 inches, 2.5 inches, and 1.5 inch wide. And then squares, 3 inches, 2.5 inches, and 2 inches. Some people go even smaller. But make a plan. Here's a list. I plan to cut my scraps into these sizes. So for instance, you don't have to use my sizes. These are ideas for reference. You can decide what you want to do with yours. And here's how I'm going to organize and store them. You know, you can write down if you're going to put them in a bin or a basket or a drawer, and just to have a little plan. And then down here, I feel like this is really good to be accountable to yourself. I'm going to devote time to controlling my scraps, weekly, monthly, or quarterly. So check the box for whichever one works for you and put it on your calendar. And then this other thing, because I really just feel like accountability to yourself is a really big part of this. So it's just a little progress chart for yourself, the date and what you did. So on this day, maybe you only, you know, filled out page 30, is it 38? 38. So, you know, on May 2nd, I filled out page 38. On May 7th, I worked on cutting charm squares. You know, just keep track, and that will just really, really help you progress. And this is kind of a lot. You know, that's it for May. We'll be into June on the next page. But that'll give you quite a few tasks to work through this month. Now I had a great listener question. Okay, we went ahead and printed off these questions because they were so good. Felt like I wanted to read them to you. So Tammy says, thanks so much for these monthly videos. I do have a couple of questions. Because I have a long arm quilting business, I struggle with scheduling computer work time, blog writing, Instagram, Facebook posting, business courses, etc., sewing room organization, and personal sewing time because I feel like I should always be working on customer quilts. How do you balance your deadline sewing along with your organized sewing room maintenance, blog writing, etc.? Does deadline sewing always take precedence, or does your schedule dictate your time? Also, how do you handle interruptions? Family or friends stopping by, phone calls, invitations to accompany family and friends. How do you say no to these opportunities? How do you protect your work time without hurting others' feelings? And along with work time, I could just say, like, even how do you protect your sewing time? You know, I feel like those of us who quilt, our sewing time is our therapy. It's what keeps us happy and joyful, and we do need to protect that, I feel like. So these are some great questions, and they're also things that I've researched a lot recently, so because it does happen to me, and I'm sure that it happens to many, many of you. The first thing I want to note is that I have separate to-do lists for my business and for my personal life. And I actually have 3 separate to-do lists. So I have a business to-do list, and that involves things like my blog writing and YouTube videos that I need to film, photography that I need to do for those different activities, email answering, things with Moda, our fabric company, you know, all those kinds of things to go back and forth, and then additionally, you know, just shipping out patterns. So that's one to-do list. Then I have another to-do list, which is my personal life. You know, if I need to organize a kitchen cupboard, or I need to buy a birthday gift for my daughter, or whatever. I have just a personal kind of home and family to-do list. And then my sewing is all separate. And on that sewing list, I've actually mixed my business and my personal projects. And I've got them on the same page, but in 2 different columns. And what I really try to do is keep an eye on my deadlines, because I get stressed when I miss deadlines or get close to missing deadlines. So I do try to stay on top. And I guess if I'm going to answer honestly, then yes, those do take precedence. But I try to build in my schedule sew time just for me. In fact, I try to keep Saturdays completely open, so that when I come in here on a Saturday, I'm organizing scraps, or I'm cleaning my sewing room, or I'm sewing something that I want to sew just for fun. Oftentimes those projects will get blogged about or shown on Instagram, but they really are just for me. I try to do my business sewing during the week. So a pattern for a magazine, I'm going to sew on that during the week, or a new pattern quilt, or something like that, all during the week, and then sewing for myself on Saturday. And I have a lot of friends, the people who quilt for me. I have about 4 really good friends here locally and in Las Vegas who quilt, and I've noticed that they have to do the same thing. They have to keep that balance with their personal creative life and their businesses. So, and I've had some of them say before, like, hey, she had a quilt for me, and she said, I had to throw something on for my daughter. And I'm like, that is great. You have to prioritize your own creative sewing as well. The interruptions. This is a really good question too. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you really have to be specific and tell family or friends, hey, I work from 9 to 3. I'm not really available during those times unless I have advance notice. So, if you want to go to lunch with a friend, you might tell her, hey, I can do this and at this time, or maybe someone calls and wants to do something, and you can juggle your schedule around because you've built in some blocks of time. And this is something that I've really just been kind of trying to do lately, is to take an hour in each day and just have it completely open, so that if somebody does drop by unexpectedly, you get a text, hey, are you home? Can I stop by? Sure, because I know that I already have an hour that I've built into my day, that I didn't have anything planned. So, or just like tomorrow, one of my daughters needs me to take her daughter to school. And so, perfect, that'll be in the morning. I'll just kind of slide my schedule down a little bit, and that will work. Sometimes I feel like you have to take some more drastic measures though, and just ignore your phone. Think about people in working years ago. They didn't have the constant bombardment of text messages and cell phone calls right there. So I feel like sometimes if I really have a deadline, or say I'm doing some design work and it just requires all of my brain, I will put my phone in another room, and I will take a break, every 90 minutes or so, just because I feel like it's not good to work on heavy thinking work for longer than 90 minutes. Anyway, I'll take a little break and I'll go check my phone. And if there's anything essential, I can get back to it. And if not, I can get back to it when I'm done for the day. I also have a done for the day list where I have generally 3 things that if I get those 3 things done, then the rest of the day is gravy, as they say. And so if I have those 3 things done, and an opportunity comes for a family event or something with a friend, then I can go do that and not feel guilty. But it really is a product of our society and what's going on with the digital age, that we do have to think about this. some people, I feel like too, I'm just going to say this, some people are just, you know, when you work from home, whether you're a long arm quilter or a quilter, or even maybe if you're an accountant and you're working from home, I just feel like there are some people that are never going to really fully understand what it's like to work from home. And video editor. So yeah, Billy just threw this out there, a video editor. You know, he deals with what we deal with, and I think sometimes even people that are close to us don't really realize the extent that we do need these quiet times to get our work done. And I also just recently heard on this, oh boy, I'm really going off on this, Tammy, thanks for asking, but I just recently heard that when you are distracted, it takes you 30 full minutes to get back into full work mode. So if you're allowing your phone to distract you, then you're just really, a lot of that time is really being lost. So hope a couple of those ideas will help. You know, building extra free time into your day so that you can jump into some of those fun activities, but then also just really, you know, putting the phone in another room, turning it off, putting it on silent. Apple now has a feature, I'm not receiving notifications. You can try to use that. Those are kind of my best ideas as I navigate this world along with all of you. But finally, just want to close with, yeah, protect your personal sewing time, because we all need that. And even if you have a business, protect that sewing just for fun. Hope that helps, Tammy, and everyone else. Okay, so that wraps up for the May planner. I hope that if you have any questions, I feel like the pages for this month might be something you might have some suggestions, or if you have something that you're doing that you feel like would help all of us, just please go ahead and leave it in the comments, and we'll be back to talk more about planning on the first Monday in June. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for stopping by.